really doesn't have the best tournament resume in the world. He's gotten second place at what was the one that it's like a week ago.
The Elite Invitational.
Yeah, that thing.
He was there.
Yeah, he got second place at that. And then outside of that, he just really hasn't done much. What he's really known for is his strong and consistent ladder play. I mean, this guy absolutely crushes it on ladder. In the very first season of the BlizzCon qualifiers, he had his account at #1 and #2 at the end of the season. Two accounts.
Play queuing into himself right at the very end. If he were to make a game, he would have queued into himself.
No, that's not how. That's not.
No, that's not how he got it. But if he had queued up, he would have ended up playing against his own rogue, probably rogue versus rogue.
That was when Miracle Rogue was just absolutely dominant, man. Talking 4-mana Leroy was not kind to high level strat.
Definitely not.
I had to play it myself. I was like, gosh, I hate this deck. But once the thing about it is, it started losing for a bit to Hunter, and then when it was like when South Deckhand kind of, you know, when you figured out that it countered explosive trap, so you could Leroy him to death at the end, you were like, oh my gosh, Miracle's broken again. Because you often didn't have 2 mana to like turn 9 was really a big focus for that deck. So you very rarely had 2 mana to invest into popping the dagger, then playing Leroy, and then shadow stepping it twice. But you very often had 1 mana because of course you're going into turn 9. Sometimes you get to turn 10, not that big a deal. But Hunters they pressured you so much you had to have that 1 extra turn to be able to do it. And then sometimes you needed to, like 2 Leroys would have ended it. So like on turn 7 for say, the South Deckhand did such a perfect job of popping the traps for 1 mana that was really what put Rogue over the top back then.
All right, so King of Beasts making a show here in Amaz's hand. I'm not exactly sure how happy he is to see that. I mean, it's not a terrible one. You're getting a 5-drop. It's like a bad Fen Creeper. If you've got Beast, however, it gets a tiny bit better. I never thought I'd say there's such a thing as a worse Fen Creeper, but there is. It has been designed.
Bad Fen Creepers are always what I want to have in my deck.
Yeah, me too. I put 5 of them.
Web Spinner puts every beast in your deck, even Iron for Grizzly and Silverback Patriarch.
Mostly Silverback Patriarch, which is OP, by the way. Just ask Fire.
Alright, gotta take the Shredder here. I think he's really happy to see a what I would consider a very average minion out of piloted Shredder.
Yeah,
but, you know, these 1-power minions, I mean, these aren't really getting it done.
They don't do much. They can't kill a mad scientist, but he's got a really I said an edge on this board at this point. But Amaz's hand is exceptionally strong curve-wise. He's got really convincing hand right now. I mean, Shredder now and then Belcher. You could even bow now if you feel like removing some of the stuff that's already there.
Yeah, I think he's got a bow. I mean, he really, really needs to take out this Nerubian, I think.
Yep, wow, it's gonna go down.
Yeah, I mean, investing it this way is fine. Also, you know, he doesn't want freezing trap to trigger on a 1/4. So it makes all the sense in the world that he's keeping that from happening by using his Mad Scientist instead. Here, like the way he played this actually is really, really smart. He still gets to kill this Nerubian next turn.
Exactly.
I'm sure Hyped doesn't really want to kill this Mad Scientist, and even if he does, it's going to throw off his curve. So he's gonna kill it this turn, and unfortunately, now he has to deal with. Oh, and he esports rolls it 4 1/1s. And look at this. Hyped is so comfortable with the start that Amaz has had that he's aware that this is so likely to be freezing trap. You know, he saw a web spinner. You know, he's seen a relatively slower start than what I think you would normally see, and that makes him so comfortable in not running into something like explosive trap.
And the interesting part about this play is that, you know, of course, Hyped, he knew he was playing into Juggler Unleash, but those are 2 specific cards that your opponent would have, and if it was a freezing trap, you stand to gain a hell of a lot more than you otherwise would if it's not that. And he can still deal pretty well with this board. I mean, you've got a Void Caller. The moment one of that dies, you're getting either the second Void Caller, or I guess you could get back your little Imp, which would be a little unfortunate. It's unlikely, though. It's a 66% in the favor of Doomguard and Void Caller at the moment.
Have you ever gotten the Imp off of Sense Demons? The useless Imp?
I have, the Worthless Imps, yeah.
Yeah, the Worthless Imps, that's what it is. Did I say Worthless Imp?
You say useless, but honestly, I don't blame you because they are useless. Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, if you got Mal'Ganis out, they're pretty good, yeah.
True.
Maybe you can Sense Demons. Oh, that's a perfect Sense Demons. You put only 1 demon in your deck, Malagos, and you get a demon to go with it.
Yeah, and then you play double Imps for free because it costs 0, right?
And you're creating extra cards too, so you're not going to go into fatigue as much.
Wow, that's genius.
Yeah, we just made the best Warlock deck ever, I think.
Well, people life tap. I don't life tap. I just play Sense Demons.
Yeah, I don't even use the Warlock Hero Power. It's not very good.
Yeah, I think it's bad.
Saving 1 health here. He's saving the health on his ooze because he doesn't want to get mortal coiled.
Oh man.
So that's certainly something to be thinking about. But you know, this is the script that Noxious wrote for us earlier, which is if you have 7 mana and you have Dr. Boom instead just automatically gets played to the board.
It seems to be pretty consistent so far in the tournament. I mean, sometimes you'll see it. There are moments where that doesn't seem to happen systematically, but so far I'd say this is almost word for word what I expected. Now those boom bots with the knife juggler, again, you know, the same threat we had earlier. What if the knife messes you up? What if?
God, that's such a weird position to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what the best play is. Maybe you just let it happen. You're like, you know what? I'm believing in the heart of the cards here. I don't think that boombot's gonna hit my guy.
The last guy who said that
Yeah,
wasn't around
okay.
to speak about it.
I think. Oh, I mean, with the way that this turn was played, it looks like he's just gonna go for face damage.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with that line of play. He's playing hard into Shadow Flame, and he knows it. But at this point, can you really blame him?
Yeah, I mean, you can see Amaz was like visibly uncomfortable with the way he had to play this turn, but I think this is his best bet. I mean, he could have killed Dr. Boom, but it leaves him with so little on the board.
So what about you play Imp, Voidcaller here for 7 mana, and you have a Power Overwhelming on the back end that you can use on one of your minions, and then the Doom Guard's guaranteed to come out of your current Voidcaller, that is.
I mean, it looks strong, but he may favor life tapping here instead. But you know, he just saw the face pressure coming, so he's definitely taking that into account right now. You can see Hype shaking his head a little bit. He doesn't like his turn very much.
Yeah, I think both
This
players
board
don't
tension-
like their turns.
Yeah, I mean, this board tension is really, really building right now. You know, both of them trying to think about cards like, what am I going to do if X happens?
Well, Unleashed has got to be out of the range of Amaz, because he would have played that a long time ago if that had been the case. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's one of the things he can probably pretty for sure conclude is that Unleash the Hounds is not in his hand right now.
Yeah, but what about double kill commands? You know,
Wow,
that's
you know
really
what? That's
problematic.
actually power overwhelming on a boombot. It's actually really interesting because it's going to affect the way that the end of the turn ends up functioning here.
This is exactly the play that I really wanted to see from Hyped, and I'm liking the place taking. Uh-oh.
Oh my! And it's a useless hit on the knife juggler too. It hit the boombot. It's already going to die no matter what.
Now this Voidcaller
Seriously?
oh
wow! And then he goes for face. Oh, and the boombot goes for face for only 1.
Okay, now Amaz can't get lethal from here. He's got only 8 or 10. He's got 13. That's it. At the very most 13. And now he's got to deal with this board. But when the Doom Guard comes out, how do you feel?
That's
Voidcaller.
I'm actually curious about that. Is how much he's going to weigh into account something like Mal'Ganis or something like Doomguard. You know, he's only got 2 cards in his hand, so he may feel comfortable just kind of killing him.
Yeah.
Voidcaller is such a scary card. I hate killing it.
Yeah, especially in the early game, you know, when it gets coined out, you don't know if you just lost the game for yourself, if it pops out exactly the worst minion. Mad Scientist coming out, that wouldn't be too bad if there hadn't been a freezing trap already.
Yeah. I wonder if he's got another secret in here, actually. Or if it's just 2 freezing traps.
It's probably the 2 snipes and the 2 misdirections, I think.
2 misdirections. 2 snipes!
Yeah, of course.
I played snipe once.
I like the emphasis on once. It was a pretty well designed emphasis there. Alright, so he's gonna pop everything and try to get as many good knives as he can, but
oh my
are
gosh.
they gonna work? And they do work. Wow.
Well, one of them didn't work. It went into the 3/3 Void Caller. I think it's the only one he didn't really want to hit. If he knew that Doomguard was in hand, that might have changed his opinion a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm not exactly sure what you do from here as a Maz. You've got to be careful, but at the same time, can you?
Go for the silence.
Okay. Oh, the Doomguard does come out.
I'm curious if he silenced the wrong one, maybe.
Oh, Shadow Flame. Wait, is that good enough?
No, it's not enough. But
Wait, you attack. Oh, wow. I never thought I'd say that, but King of Beasts is really helping out right now.
yeah, it's like Fen Creeper's actually doing work right now.
Oh my god.
You said Fen Creeper, and you said it was a bad Fen Creeper. I think this is a great Fen Creeper.
Actually, it's not gonna do anything anymore. Is this real? I think it's real. Actually, you could Shadow Flame Blood Mage. You attack with this, then you Blood Mage Shadow Flame the Blood Mage.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what he's gonna do.
Or you could play Egg Blood Mage and then Shadow Flame the Egg.
For one. Oh,
it would kill. Yeah, it would do pretty well.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually wants to kill the Mad Scientist right now. I mean, that actually may
It wouldn't
be
die.
He gets a 4/4 off of it too, so he actually, I mean, that might just be. Oh no, he doesn't have enough mana to do that. What are we talking about?
Yeah, well, never mind
Sometimes.
this.
Yeah, so he's
Yeah.
gonna Shadow Flame Blood Mage instead. We're stupid.
You could Shadow Flame the Blood Mage, get really good value out of it, which also, by the way, for those who wonder, the Blood Mage's spell damage applies to its own death on Shadow Flame. It's very
Oh my
important that
gosh,
people
and
realize
Amaz
that.
draws the worst card in his deck. The other mad scientist. He doesn't have a freeze. The freezing trap's the only. I mean, that's the only
Yeah.
one. It's the one in his hand.
So you have to play Eagle Hornbow, kill the Void Caller, and then play Freezing Trap to prevent that Doomguard from doing anything, but it's
I don't
so
really
horrible.
know. I mean, what can he? Is there anything he can draw for lethal? So he
Dr.
plays
Boom. you just draw Dr. Boom and you
He
stall
takes
a
his
little
opponent
bit
down
more.
to 11, then he has an attack for 3. So he can only take his opponent down to 8, and he needs
Yep.
one draw to deal 8 damage. So I think you're right. He's gonna have to start clearing stuff here. But the Doomguard is just gonna be back in his hand.
Yep.
It's
not
gonna cost
get
7
little-
mana, but I mean, Nerubian Egg and Defender of Argus are good ones, but after that, what if Hype doesn't have anything that's really worth anything in his hand? He just gets a Doomguard again. This is an awful position.
Yeah, it might go both ways still. I mean, I would say the Hype was slightly favored, but in this position, it could go. Either way, Amaz is just going face, allowing the Doomguard to get the damage in, but he's threatening lethal, possibly, if the top deck line up.
Well,
That Defender of Argus is
yeah.
finally going to get the value that Hyped wants desperately.
and I don't think. Do you think he life taps here? I don't think he does.
No,
Like with the play your opponent just made, he's obviously hoping for a long shot here, but I think you can even take that possibility away by just not life tap, or
you
help
attack
take
with-
that possibility away.
I mean, you've seen 2 freezing traps at this point, so what is the Mad Scientist really going to do, even if it gets popped? So you just drop
Yeah. He knows
everything
there's
you've got
another
with
secret
Defender.
there. Yeah, he knows there's another secret. The last Mad Scientist didn't get a secret. Does he Defender the Haunted Creeper here? Oh, but what about Unleash the Hounds then?
Yeah, you could really just get with the Nerubian Egg. That way you have even more damage next turn. If a 4/4 pops out, then you get the lethal off of your board.
And he just wants
That's
extra
probably the
damage
best
too.
way.
Yeah, I'm afraid that Amaz probably has no way to get back into this game again. I mean, this is going to need a miracle draw. And it would have to be a card that's basically just not even in his deck, probably ever. So Hype's going to take this first game, man. It looked like it was that one turn where there was 4 minions on each side of the
How it's going to pan out against the Hunter, because Mech Mage is not exactly known for being necessarily the best deck against Hunter. It's not a horrible one, mind you, but those games are generally coin flips. I call them coin flips on a personal note.
I mean, it's definitely. I don't think it's that Hunter's the best matchup for it. But sort of, I've had a lot of different success with this matchup, and sort of something I think may be throwing a lot of people off is that when Mech Mage wins this matchup, like against something like for instance, let's say Face Hunter, for instance.
Yeah.
When I beat Face Hunter with this deck, it always feels like it's so close. I mean, it's like down to the last few points of health on both sides. But I felt like I've won the matchup very often. And so I feel like because it's so close every time that you beat it, and because when you lose to it, you basically just get blown out of the water, that it could be affecting the way the matchup kind of feels from an experience. It's like, unless you're just actually tracking every single game that you play and like what you played against and the win percentages, it's much harder to have, an accurate guess as to what's going on versus if you're just going based on feel. Because based on feel, it just always feels like you won the game and you're like, oh, that was lucky to win.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the old, the zoo versus zoo. It was a 50-50 every single time, but the player who won generally won by a complete snowball. And that's kind of the same thing for these two classes. Sometimes one gets the edge very early, and the other one has no mechanism to recover from it. And it feels like a complete blowout a lot of the time. Well, this Mech Mage hand is not terrible, but you've got to be a little careful with how you extend into this. And I like the Harvest Golem from Hyped here. It's not a card we've seen too much in Mech Mage recently. It seems to have phased out a little bit. It used to be a staple, but got a lot of people just decide not to play it, I guess.
Yeah, Bo's a pretty good one here too.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd say it's as good as it's gonna get.
Yeah, I mean, that's given his hand, it's probably the best draw in his deck. Maybe Animal Companion could have been a little bit better, but I would still doubt it. I mean, this gives him a weapon to help fight against the next minion. Hype's hand definitely just got a lot better with that draw. Like, if he draws a 4-drop next turn, I think that Mech Warper is going to be looking pretty darn good.
In the meantime, do you just play Clockwork Gnome Tinkertown, or?
I mean, that feels like it's going to be the best value you're going to get. He may really, really value pinging here, though. which is also very, very reasonable. I mean, you want to try to, in the way that this game is gone, it's obviously turning into a bit of a grind. So every time that he gets a hero power and it's not really, making him have a stagnant play, he's going to be happy to do it. And Amaz continues to draw no minions. And honestly, it's kind of weird because the first one he wants to draw is something that isn't very good, so he can get rid of this mirror entity. Because he can't just play the Savannah Highway on turn 6 when the mirror entity's down. He has to actually draw like a bad minion.
That's gonna be dangerous. Yeah, you just can't play those. I mean, even Sludge Bell, sure, you're not feeding a mage. When your deck contains stuff like web spinners, are you really gonna play Highway into mirror entity? There's no way at all. The interesting thing is the freezing trap is still there though, so the moment Hype does get a board, it's gonna get denied right away.
Yeah, so it's kind of curious that Amaz chose to attack with the bow here, even though he had the trap out. And really, what he's thinking about is how much Goblin Blast Mage might break this game wide open.
Yeah,
and that's why he chose to attack, to sacrifice the potential for an additional bow draw. But a 3/3 Tinkertown Technician, I mean, this almost feels like enough. Amaz is probably going to have to kill command either
Hunter's Mark. I guess you could.
Yeah, Hunter's Mark or kill command either the Knife Juggler or the Tinkertown Technician this turn. He's going to start falling really far behind, but Hyde's hand isn't very good too, and you could see that he was really uncomfortable with his draw. He drew second Frostbolt. I mean, they got to do something.
Really
they got to do something. You can't just not play minions.
Yeah, this is going to be a really grindy game. I mean, you can play Knife Juggler and kill command and Hunter's Mark, so you could play those three and then get a really good Savannah Highway next turn. And I feel like that might be the line of play to take if you really want to stick something on the board that's not going to get answered immediately.
Yeah, you'd have the freezing trap down too. It just doesn't feel very good to Hunter's Mark at 3/3.
Yeah,
you have
but
5 mana open.
Beggars can be choosers.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Hype has even the second mirror entity though, so cup half full sort of thing.
Is he just gonna you could also just let the freezing trap do his job, right? Because there's no mech, so the blast mage is out of the question unless Hyped has both blast mage and the mech in his hand.
Oh my gosh, Hyped draws Fireball. He has no minion play this turn. But again, cup half full. Amaz only has 1 minion play, and I can tell you it's not going to be Savannah Highmane if this mirror hits the board.
Yeah, exactly. Another secret drops down, you can bet Amaz is not going to play into it. He wanted to. He set up a really good turn last turn from his perspective, but in this case, it's not going to do anything. And the 3/3 is going to be able to come back next turn to contest this board. Actually, he doesn't even bother.
Yeah, he doesn't want to attack with it just quite yet.
Well, what's the reasoning? I'm wondering, because you can't even attack into a minion anyway, right?
He doesn't want his opponent to play the other freezing trap, maybe, is a possibility.
Okay, second one.
Yeah, and then the other one is because, again, he has the mirror entity on board. If Amaz plays a worse minion, he can use that to trigger the freezing trap instead.
Oh, this is going to be a good Tinkertown now that the mech is out. He's going to be able to replay it and get a spare part. It's going to cost quite a little bit, and he might not do it immediately if he doesn't feel like it, but I feel like this is a good one.
With the Annoyatron draw, I think he's very comfortable sitting behind. Oh, wow. He's actually not going to play the Annoyatron this turn. So he's looking for a favorable trade on the Pilot Shredder instead. So,
and that's a really favorable trade.
It's about one of the best ones you can get. I'm trying to think of Vitality Totem, Flame Tongue Totem.
Pieces of eight. Yeah, I guess Vitality Totem would be the best though, but yeah, 0/3 I think is as good as it's gonna get. Is it a 0/3 or 0/4? I keep forgetting. I've just
Vitality is 0/3, and Flame Tongue is 0/3 also. I think all the castable totems are 0/3.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if people would play Spell Power Totem if it was like a 0-mana 0/2 with +1 Spell Power.
I would play it. Everybody would. If it was a neutral class card, a neutral card, and everybody could do it. Like, I was trying to.
It's a Shaman class card, of course.
Oh, I think they would. Getting it with Lightning Storm is such a necessary part of your play, right? Like you play Blood Mage Thalnos, not even for the draw. You just want that cheap spell power on turn 5. So I think people would definitely at least consider it.
Really thinking about not trading into this, which I actually don't mind. I mean, I like the face damage. I think 4 damage to face is totally cool. This isn't threatening either one of your minions right now. It's not a beast. I don't think that you're expecting Amaz to play like Dark Iron Dwarf or Shattered Sun Cleric or Defender of Argus, anything like that. So,
and if he does, you give it to him.
Right, and the other thing too is he's been holding on to these 3 cards for quite a while now. I think he's safe to assume that one of them is I mean, whoa, that is certainly a different one. This could very easily backfire though.
Choose over champion. That's a good one.
What's the other one?
It's got 3 durability. I'm gonna say Cogmaster's Wrench. Take your bets. Take your bets. I don't see anything but the durability. Stormforged Axe. Could be that.
I think those are the only 3 health weapon or the 3 charge weapons in the game.
Could there be another one that I'm not remembering? Possibly. It is a Stormforged Axe.
Yeah, it's a Stormforged Axe.
All right.
50-50, you got it wrong. What bad RNG?
Yeah. All right. So
This is,
that's
this
a
is
really
good.
threatening board. I mean, your Hyman is.
No, he's fine.
Oh yeah, he's totally
He's
fine.
only
That's right.
facing down lethal damage with, just a few options.
Yeah.
Storm Forged Axe.
I think the way to do this is you get Demon Heart, you buff your Mistress of Pain to gain health.
How does he get a Demon Heart? He just draws it. What's that bug when you're in Spectator and like you can draw and it's the Warlock card?
Yeah, I had a
0 mana with 0/0.
Yeah,
that
I had
happened
a
like
0/0.
10 times at the Gfinity event, and I was like, "Come on, this bug is so rare. I've never seen this." And
Yeah.
it just kept happening over and over there.
Oh, it's
Maybe it's a
gotta be little
European
off.
bug.
What do you do here in this position? I mean, you attack with the Mistress definitely, but it doesn't heal you because
I think
it doesn't deal
he might
damage.
have to. I mean, he might have to silence his own spin high man just to prevent him from dying.
Attacking
this turn.
something. Yeah, I
He's
think
looking
so
at 4
too.
damage across the board. I mean, if Fireball's there, he's just dead anyway.
Yeah.
But
Kill
I think
command, silence,
yeah.
juggler. Basically, well, juggler, silencer.
There's the freezing trap. There's the knife juggler, and gosh,
Oh.
I seriously think he's gonna silence.
He's
Don't
not
spend
doing
it.
it, but
No,
I
he didn't
really
do it.
believe he should have done it.
I don't know if he should have either way. I mean, he's dead to just Fireball as it is.
Yeah,
So he
which
didn't
was our
just-
champion.
Oh, he's just dead on board. Oh no, he's got the freezing trap. I don't know
Yeah.
if this. Does he actually win the game this way? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? I don't think there's any way Amaz can really win this game. I don't. We're just debating semantics at this point.
Yeah,
Hike is
it's-
going to take a 2-0 lead. And I mean, Amaz is drawing really, really poorly with his Hunter deck so far. He's drawn a trap in his hand both times, which is something that you.
And as Amaz, it's one of the worst classes to have to reverse sweep.
Ragnaros in hand already for Hyped. I don't think he's gonna hang on to that one, but I'm
Well,
curious to see if he keeps
mulligan
the keeper in the
Keeper
group or
and
not.
Doctor Boom. You keep Rag, you
Keeper
mulligan
Rag.
Keeper and Doctor Boom, and you get 2 innervates,
Yep.
and
If
you're
you-
good to go.
This is the true definition of YOLO Rag, is if he
Yeah.
keeps the Wild Growth and mulligans the other 2, and he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna get 2 innervates.
Yeah.
Oh wow, come on, Hyped. Look, he got 1 innervate. If he draws the innervate, he's gonna regret this.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, you could even play Doctor 7 on, as Doctor 3. Doctor 2 even with the coin. Oh my goodness, Doctor 2.
Next time I have Wild Growth and Ragnaros in my hand, I'm just gonna have to keep both of those and hope I draw 2 innervates. I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life if I don't do it. Next time I see it, I'm just gonna have to do it.
Yeah, you're gonna be called Admiral Balls after that because that's got to take some serious guts.
Wow, look at this hand. This is such a weird turn now for Hyped, because he has options for everything. He's going to make this pretty darn quick, and I think when you see turn 2 Freezing Trap, you could be a lot more comfortable with this. But this really throws off this Wild Growth now. Like, it's almost like you regret keeping it because you drew Zombie Chow, and then because your opponent Freezing Trapped it, you feel so much more comfortable playing Piloted Shredder. And once again for Amaz, he gets, I mean, basically one of the worst draws that's possible. He drew both Mad Scientist, great, but then he also drew 2 Freezing Traps. So those are just 2 mana 2/2s.
Yeah, it feels almost worse because you want to use them as tempo plays in Hunter when you end up not using them. And he gets Huffer, which is probably the worst possible outcome here when Keeper of the Grove risks coming around with a coin, and that's exactly what happens. Amaz is so far behind
I
on the
think
scoring
Leok
phase.
would have been a little bit worse,
Right,
because he wouldn't have gotten
traded
anything
the-
out of it, but it's still pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. There's very few outcomes here would have been good for Amaz at this point of the game. You really want to find some kind of way to put pressure on the Druid, but when they do find... Oh, and Millhouse Mana Storm comes out. I'm gonna light you up, sweet cheeks. I don't even know how he's supposed to deal with that gnome.
Oh
And-
my gosh, everything is going wrong for Amaz. You know, typically Amaz has been, in my opinion, one of the luckier players that's out there. It seems like he almost controls it at times. What has happened this match? He has not gotten him. He just can't get a break.
Also, I would like to point out Hyped's horrible, and I totally mean this, totally honestly, horrible positioning here on Shade of Nax, not playing around the very common explosive shot. I don't know why
Oh,
you ever
gosh.
would. Yeah, this is terrible, isn't it?
If he plays that one to the left of Millhouse Mana Storm, it's got to be a disaster.
Yeah, I don't know what's
that's
gonna
what it
happen
does.
here. I mean,
know,
Amaz
he has a
obviously
li-
plays 2 shots.
He's really thinking about killing one of these Mad Scientists and then proccing the Freezing Trap with something else.
And then you play Millhouse.
Right. So well, the very, I don't think it's going to be the Millhouse that procs it, but the very first one of these Mad Scientists he's going to attack is going to commit him this, and what he's going to find out with this attack is that there's just no Freezing Trap.
Yeah, and he's gonna feel very comfortable going forward just about any line of play, right? It doesn't even matter at this point. And he's gonna go for the the swipe?
Yeah, he was gonna swipe there, and he was
Didn't
like,
see a trap.
and he's like, wait a minute, there's no freezing trap. I can do whatever I want.
And he is smiling right now. He had a really nice smirk on his face.
Yeah.
You could see the satisfaction saying, "Oh, you're Hunter,
Oh,
bad
gosh,
draw."
it's so brutal right now. I don't even think Savannah Jaime can get him out of this one.
Well, maybe the Savannah high main rule would not stand for this one, because you can just go face at this point.
Look at Hyped. He's even kind of shaking his head. He's like, I can't believe it. This is the third time that he hasn't gotten a trap from a mad scientist. And in this game, he didn't even get one from the first one. Is this enough damage, by the way? 4, 8, 11 plus 8. Yeah, it's just
With
enough
swipe,
damage.
it is lethal,
Yeah,
actually.
he just has lethal. Wow.
Well, this is the most convincing Druid win against a mid-range Hunter that I've ever seen, personally. And I think we all have to blame the mad scientists for their unfortunate show-up with the freezing traps. Wow, 3-0 from Hyped versus Amaz in this series. First time they ever play against each other in a tournament setting. That's devastating.